Have you ever been in a relationship with a woman who is completely closed down on you? Or maybe you're in a relationship with a woman right now who is closed down on you, and she's no longer this warm, feminine, loving woman because you've broken her trust and she doesn't want to surrender anymore, and she keeps fighting against you, and there's this power struggle dynamic. This is exactly what I'm going to be talking about on today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Awake with Jake show. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the barriers of what inspires a woman to surrender to a man. Now, I'm going to be throwing around terms like surrender and submissive, and I want you to be very clear about this. These terms are not to be derogatory, okay? These terms are a complete act of safety, because when a woman does feel safe, it allows herself to naturally surrender and become more submissive. This doesn't mean that she's weak or a doormat or less than a man. It just means that she's relinquishing control because she no longer feels the need to be the leader, to be the protector, to be the decision maker, to make all the plans, to provide everything, because she can let go of that masculine role of doing so. And in a relationship, when there are healthy masculine and feminine dynamics, I believe that this relationship will absolutely thrive. Now, if you've ever been in a relationship before where you felt that before, which most people really haven't, unfortunately, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if all you've ever been in were unsafe relationships, then you probably have no understanding of what I'm talking about. So this is why I'm going to share this with you, okay? So let's say in the situation that you're in right now, you're with a woman. She's closed down on you. She's lost all trust. First step in understanding this, you have to understand her needs for safety, okay? A woman is much more of an emotional creature than a man. And her needs to be emotionally safe with a man are so much more intense than a man's needs for that, okay? Yes, men need to feel emotionally safe and they need to be respected, they need to be appreciated, but a woman's needs for emotional safety, because her sensitivity levels are very high, she feels things very deeply. When you are flighty, when you are ungrounded, when you are non-committal, when you are inconsistent, when you are indecisive, all of these things, or when you're aggressive and you're really critical, or you're constantly trying to dominate and control her, these things cause a woman, her nervous system, to contract and withdraw from a man. Okay, let me be very clear about this. When you are what I call the wobbly willy in a relationship, because you're insecure within yourself and you still haven't healed your wounded little boy, you will cause a woman to withdraw and contract away from you. When you consistently act like this, because of course, any man is going to have imperfections and he's going to act out of his masculine frame at times. When you consistently do this, she's likely to eventually withdraw from you because you're not being that strong masculine man. Okay? You're not being the protector, the leader, the provider, the decision maker. So she's having to step in and be this. And when a man doesn't embody those healthy masculine traits, the woman is then forced to step in and do it. And this happens so often inside of relationships. I see this all the time with the men that I work with. They're in these marriages. They come into my Elite Masculine program. They're in these marriages. They're flighty. They're ungrounded. They're super soft and passive. And they're like the nice guy, right? They're the good guy. But deep down, they've abandoned their masculinity, and she can fucking feel that. She can feel that you have checked out on your purpose. She can feel that you've lost your masculine edge. She can feel your withering away. She can feel your flightiness and your wobbliness, because women feel very deeply. So when you are those things, of course, she's going to begin to withdraw and pull away. Because if you consistently break her trust and you make her feel unsafe multiple times, she's going to not want to be open with you. She's not going to want to be submissive and surrendered in the relationship because she doesn't feel safe. This is why one of the contributing factors, because I'm going to throw something else at you here in a minute. This is why She puts resistance towards your leadership. This is why she gives you a lot of pushback, a lot of nasty attitude when you are not in your masculine frame. Now, on the other side of that, I'm playing the devil's advocate here. There are women who carry past pain into a relationship with a man, and they carry what I call the masculine shield, and they feel very unsafe within themselves already. And then they just take all that out on the man. And if that is a situation right now, you're with a woman who is projecting past pain on you, this is where you need to be very clear with your boundaries. Okay? Because as a man, you have to understand your worth and your value. And if you don't understand your worth and your value, no woman will ever fucking respect you. Nobody will ever respect you. Okay? So it is so important to understand the feminine needs, number one, for emotional safety. Does that make sense what I'm saying right now? Her needs for emotional safety are very, very important. This doesn't mean that you play this nice guy role and you become a doormat and you appease her and you do whatever she wants, because she'll actually become very repelled by that, because it's quite disgusting. Because nice guys can't protect. Nice guys can't lead. Nice guys aren't decisive. They're very passive and insecure within themselves. Number two, you've broken her trust. So you have to work on building and regaining her trust. Now, this is going to take time, so this is where you really get to be patient, okay? If you have a woman who is checked out because of stupid shit that you've done over the years, because maybe you were emotionally numb, maybe you were emotionally unavailable, maybe you weren't leading properly, maybe you didn't continue to court her in the relationship and continue to love her. So now as a man, you want to lead, but you got to lead when it's uncomfortable too. You can't just keep leading when everything's good, and when things get bad, you throw these fucking temper tantrums like a wounded little boy. That's the type of energy that causes a woman to close down. That's the type of energy that causes a woman to completely leave your ass. And you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. I've been there. I have been there. I've been this guy. I've been the guy who was the chaser and wanted the woman to see me and validate me, because deep down I was still carrying insecurity. I was the man who's been emotionally numb. I was the man that's probably been too critical in relationships. And I learned a lot of these things, which then in my relationship with my now wife, I've been able to better understand her needs because she communicates so clearly with me. So say if I'm too aggressive or I'm not being decisive, I'm not being clear, she'll step in and say, hey, baby, you're not being clear with me right now. Could you be clear with me? Could you take the lead on this? And I rise up and I'm like, hell yes, right? And that's what I want. I want a woman, my wife, to be clear with me, because it's very helpful for me to lead the ship, our family, right? This is what I strive to be. I strive to be the best father and husband that I can possibly be, and the best man that I can be, to show up fully for my clients, for my purpose, to help people have deeper intimacy, to have deeper connection to their masculinity. So then in turn, a masculine man, when he steps into that power and he activates that and that clicks that switch, it will help activate her femininity, right? So number two is you've broken her trust. It's going to take time for you to be consistent, to show her that what you are doing is for real, because you've probably been very flighty and inconsistent. You know, maybe you've checked out and you started doing drugs, or maybe started watching porn, or maybe you cheated or did some dumb shit and it really hurt her. And if you did this, it's time to regain and rebuild her trust, if she's open to it, of course, because if the flower's already died and you know it's already dead, that's where you got to make the decision to walk away. Okay. And that's not an easy decision to make. But if the flower has died and you know that she's completely checked out, she doesn't want to work on this anymore, that is where you have to really accept that this is not fixable. Now, this is a last case resort. That is like the parachute that you're pulling when everything else has failed and you've tried everything you possibly could. Let's hope that you're not there right now. Okay. Number three, I want to talk about her masculine shield. As I said before, sometimes when a woman has this experience and exposure to a lot of trauma, she will develop what I call the masculine shield. And so subconsciously, she fights against men. She fights against their leadership. She fights against their protection. She fights against their giving, because subconsciously, she doesn't feel safe with masculinity. Now, if you're in a relationship with a woman that is carrying a heavy masculine shield, you'll notice very quickly, because she's defensive. Anytime you bring anything up, she's going to be stubborn. She's not going to do what you ask her to do. She's not going to follow your lead because she's going to fight against you, because subconsciously she's carrying the masculine shield. And this masculine shield, it varies in thickness for women depending on their exposure to trauma. A woman's exposure to trauma will thicken her masculine shield over time. Now, if you've gotten into a relationship with a woman that is carrying a lot of masculine energy because you were probably carrying a lot of feminine energy, your relationship is probably imbalanced in its polarity. Polarity is the sexual attraction. So if you are realizing that you're now stepping into your masculine and she's staying in her masculine, and you're still bang, clashing like fucking two rams, banging heads together, this is where you have to ground yourself even deeper in your masculine energy. Stop matching her energy like a beta male, because beta males, they match people's energy. Beta men, they match their women's energy, and they do this unconsciously. She starts getting elevated in her tone of voice. You start getting elevated in her tone of voice. She starts talking in a higher pitch. You start talking in a higher pitch. What it's really about is grounding your masculinity so you can be a container to hold her emotions. When you are a container for a woman's emotions, it allows her to let go of control. And to be very clear, being a container for her emotions doesn't mean that you accept or tolerate any type of abuse, because a strong container filters what it allows in there. Okay, so as a masculine man, you are the protector of your relationship. You are the leader of your relationship. And if you're not leading your relationship properly, then you're allowing bullshit to come into your container, right? The masculine is the container. You probably haven't been filtering because you've been checked out, because you've been numbing yourself out to porn, OnlyFans, scrolling on your phone, overworking yourself, hitting the fucking blue raspberry vape pen. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You're not leading your relationship and you expect your woman to be this feminine, radiant, submissive woman. But how are you showing up right now? And this is what I teach men inside of my Elite Masculine program. How to build a strong masculine frame. How to become a leader. How to step fully into your purpose as a man. So you feel clear, grounded, and confident. If you would like to be a part of this, my next Elite Masculine program begins January 16th. Go to jakewoodard.com/elite to apply for the program. Okay. This is a 3-month program. It is extremely intense. It is very, very thorough. And by the end of this program, your masculine warrior will be fully activated. Once again, go to jakewoodard.com/elite. The spaces are filling up very quickly, and there is only a handful of spaces left, okay? Number 4, holding a masculine frame. This is one of the secrets to inspiring a woman's surrender. If you are not holding a strong masculine frame in your life, meaning your physical strength, your emotional strength, overall strength, your financial strength, these strengths, your ability to lead, your leadership strength, to navigate through hard times. These different pillars, these different strengths, how you ground yourself, how you breathe, how you open your body, how you carry your physical body, the tonality of your voice, all of these little details matter, okay? To men, we often don't think about this shit, but women are so detail-oriented that if you're missing one of these completely, it just like is a billboard that it just says, not in his masculine frame. Look at the way he's leading his life right now. He's not in his masculine frame. He's all over the place right now. He can't make a damn decision. He doesn't show up for anything he says he's going to do. He has no follow through. He's inconsistent. Look at how you are leading your life right now, brother. Just look at your life. Are you leading a life that a woman would really want to follow? And what happens so often that I see is these men that have unhealed, wounded boys living within them, they're leading women to dark places. He starts doing drugs, she starts doing drugs. He starts drinking a bunch, she starts drinking a bunch. But have you ever seen a woman become really fucking radiant when she's with a strong masculine man? Have you ever seen a woman just start glowing when she's with a strong masculine man? Because he's leading so clearly. He's the captain of his ship. This is what a woman wants. Women have been sold this lie by our corrupt matrix and corrupt society, because the agenda to masculinize women and feminize men, they've been sold this lie to become hyper independent, to rebel against masculinity, which in turn has caused them to overdevelop their own masculinity. So the women that see through these lies are then able to let down the shield, allow a man to lead, who they trust and feel safe with, of course, and they begin to reclaim their radiance. A woman who lets go of this quote unquote boss girl mode, who's always in work mode and task mode, who recovers her feminine essence, who goes on this journey and allows a man to begin leading and providing and protecting, watch out. She is like an open flower, and you will see it in her energy. I can always tell when I look at a man, I can tell a lot about the type of woman he's with, because the woman is the reflection of the man. So look at this. I want the next time you're around a couple, look at how the woman is acting. The other day I was at an event with my wife and our son, and I was observing a table nearby us. And there was this woman who was with her husband, and she had a small child who was probably 6 or 7 years old. And I was observing them because the woman seemed very agitated, very aggressive. And the little girl asked her a question. Now remember, this little girl was like 6 or 7 years old. She asked her a question. She said, "Mommy," and she said something to her. And the mom snapped. It was super nasty to her. And I was like, wow, that was unnecessary. I'm thinking this to myself. And I started reflecting how I would respond to this. 2 minutes later, food came over and she picked it up. There was a whole table. There was food sent to the table. She picked it up and was going to eat. And she goes, "Put that down, Sarah. That is not your food. What are you doing touching that?" And my jaw dropped. And I'm just like, wow, okay. As this was happening, the father and or the husband was standing there watching the whole thing, by the way, pulls out his phone, just checks out and starts scrolling on his phone. And I thought to myself, wow, you little bitch. You just allowed your wife to completely destroy your daughter in that moment. And you did nothing about it to protect her. Nothing is more infuriating than watching a man stand by as his wife just completely obliterates the child. Now, I know there's a lot of other factors that could be at play here, but what I'm thinking, this man has been allowing this to go on for a very long time because he's not leading his household, and he just stood back and just allowed his wife to flip out on the daughter multiple times, by the way. And it pinged me so bad. It drove the stake deep in my heart. And I thought to myself, if this man just pulled his wife aside and he just said, "Hey, baby, let me talk to you for a minute. Come over here." And he said, "Baby, we're not going to speak to our daughter like that. Please don't do that again. I understand you're frustrated right now, but come talk to me about it. Do not take it out on our daughter." If he started doing that, she would be so much softer, more surrendered, more open, more feminine. If he was taking the lead of the relationship and just being truly grounded in his masculine frame of who he is as a man, where he's going, what he's doing. But so many men are not standing on firm ground right now. They are wobbly. And this is the biggest problem in our society right now. We have a bunch of wobbly ass men, and women are looking around. Well, who the fuck's going to lead? He ain't going to lead, so I guess I got to. Because the man isn't stepping up and taking the lead. Now, once again, I'm going back to the devil's advocate play here. Women also have to be willing to surrender and let go of control. Control is the number one thing that I see in our society right now. Women are so critical and controlling, especially of their men. And what happens a lot of times, if he doesn't step up and start having boundaries with her, she emasculates him and withers away his masculinity because she's so relentless in her control and hovering, nasty, dark energy over him like a nagging mother. Now, this content that you're hearing come flying out of my mouth hole right now may be a little bit alarming for you because maybe you've been that woman or maybe you've been that man. But guess what? If you're feeling a little fuzzled up right now, feel like somebody just shook a soda bottle inside of you about to explode, good. Because we're getting somewhere now, aren't we? Number 5, communicating from your masculine power. Okay. A lot of men don't know how to do this. I know I didn't for the longest time. I thought masculine power was like, listen, you're going to fucking do what I say to do. That's hyper feminine little bitch shit right there. Okay? Acting like a ramrod, aggressive, controlling asshole is little bitch shit. It's the wounded little boy who stomps around and has a temper tantrum. You ain't a man. You ain't a man. You ain't a man. You're a wounded little boy. You're insecure within yourself. Or you're playing this nice guy role who is passive. Oh, baby, we'll just do whatever you want. You take the lead. You drive the ship. You drive the ship forever. And I'll just sit back and I'll just sit over here and scroll on my phone and, I'll just maybe go shopping at TJ Maxx or Home Goods while you go take care of everything and lead the household and lead our family and, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And this is why so many relationships are failing in today's world because men are not leading and women are not surrendered. This is what it comes down to. Sure, there's all different types of factors here, but at the core of everything, women don't feel safe, men aren't leading. And they're tying into each other because now women are becoming hyper masculine. They're becoming very critical and controlling, combative, defensive. And men are getting sick of dealing with this. And at the same time, men are becoming passive and flimsy and indecisive and very weak-minded, very hypersensitive. And women are getting sick of dealing with that shit. So where is the solution? It lies in our communication. But I'm going to put it back on the man. Men, if you love your woman and this is the woman that you want to be with, you truly love her and you're just like, I'm all in on this. I love you, baby. I want this to work. This is where you have to learn to start leading. Leading from your masculine power. The way you communicate, the tone of your voice, your body language, how grounded you are, how contained you are, how you process and deal with your own emotions. Do you blow up on her or do you shut down? What type of man are you in the relationship? Because you know exactly what the fuck type of man you are. You're the guy either abandoning her, blowing up on her, shutting down. Where are you? Check in with yourself. And ladies, how are you communicating? Are you over-explaining yourself? Or are you shutting down? Are you being defensive and guarded? Or are you clearly communicating your needs to feel safe, to feel secure? I'm going to leave you with that. And once again, for the men, if you want to learn how to step into your masculine power and stop playing this nice guy role, or you're holding on to a lot of pain, which is causing you to be like this aggressive ramrod type, my Elite Masculine program will teach you the exact framework to become that elite man that women respect and people respect as a whole. If you'd like to apply for this program, go to jakewoodard.com/elite. Once again, spaces are limited, very limited at this point. And we begin January 16th. Okay. Ladies, if you have a man that you think would benefit from this program, encourage him. Say, baby, I would love for you to sign up for this. I really think it would help you. Stop being a lone wolf. Stop trying to do this shit all on your own. Let's take this relationship in a direction where I can follow your lead. I would love to follow your lead because I feel safe. Inspire him to step into his masculinity. Don't forget the power of your feminine voice and your invitation to him to step in as a strong masculine man. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. Once again, if it resonated with you, I would love to hear how it did by you taking a screenshot of this right now, sharing it to your Instagram story, tagging me, hit me in the DMs. Let me know what landed for you. I love you so damn much. I will see you on the next episode. Once again, as always, stay open, stay grounded, and stay connected to that powerful source within you.